But I do admit, that there is probably many things that I need to change about myself. Well, for one thing, I need to get back to how I used to be. I used to have a more active life. I think, honestly, the problem with the internet is that, people get so into it that we sit around on the internet all the time, and that probably contributes to weight gain and contributes to depression because, I wasn't always heavy and depressed. But I admit, the last few years, I've let myself slip. I've had a few hardcore things happen and I just sort of kind of gave up. I feel like I'm not loved and accepted for who I am, and I just give up. I just gave up on so many things, and I admit that that's why I've been trying to get back into being a better Christian. I've been trying to be more positive, but it's just, I think honestly I just don't like the holidays because I feel so lonely and depressed. I notice that I get like this around the holidays when my attitude is not as positive. And I apologize if I hurt people's feelings or if I don't mean to be a downer. I don't mean to be a negative person. But I admit that, there is certain things I need to change about myself. For one thing, I'm not going to wait around for people who say they want a relationship with me or something like that, and then they don't really strive to make things better. I need to not, basically I need to start being more reliant on myself and not rely on other people so much. I mean, I admit, I've always been more of an independent type. And, I admit that the last few years I've really let myself slip. I've let myself fall into these deep depressions, and it's not like I meant to. It just happened, I mean, I admit, I do need to change. I need to change for better. I need to change myself. I need to work on my own self, on my own life. I need to work on my own behavior, my own attitude, my own motivation, because sitting around being fat and depressed and unhealthy, it doesn't help anyone. I don't suggest for people to be depressed or sit around. I always suggest that people do the things they like to do to keep themselves from being depressed, because I do suffer from depression, so. But my depression kicks in hardcore around this time of year, and November is not one of my favorite times of the year. I tend to be in a bad mood around November. I just don't like this time of year. I'm always alone on the holidays, and, well, I mean, I'm not completely alone. I have a couple of friends that have been there for me for a few years. At least I'm thankful for that, but I don't really like the holidays. I'll be honest. I might as well be honest. Because if I'm not honest, then that's not going to help me. The more honest I am, it actually helps me. It helps me get over my issues. It helps me talk out my issues. But I do know I need to change. I admit I need to get back and doing things that I'm good at. I'm an artist. Get back to my creative writing. Get back and be more of an active person again, and lose weight and eat healthy again, and not sit around and let my depression get to me, not wait around for so-called people to contact me. And I admit I do need to change. I'm not on here to blame anyone for my problems. I may just confront people who may have wronged me, but I know I need to change. you know, I need to change for better. I need to lose weight and need to get back out there and stop being so depressed and having a negative attitude. You know, I don't know. I just admit, I really struggle around the holidays. You know, the rest of the year I do relatively okay. I've gotten a lot better. For the rest of the year I do pretty well with my attitude and my demeanor, but when it comes to being knowing November and December, it's like it's like a annual depression or something. I don't know, but you know, I'm not the only person that's suffering this. There's a lot of people that are suffering holiday depression. And I'm just curious, for all the people out there that suffer holiday depression, what do you do to deal with your holiday depression? Now, I know some of you might say you go and get antidepressant pills, but I don't like those kinds of medications because they cause health problems. I mean, there's one video on here already that I talked about how medications actually, the psychological meds, actually make people more sick and cause them more sicknesses. But besides taking drugs, is there any, what do you do that's constructive to deal with holiday depression? Now, I mean, I know there's a lot of people out there that suffer holiday depression. Because it's like, I've gotten better. I do have depression, I do have issues on a regular basis, but I've gotten so much better. It's like, I'm telling you, when January comes, I'm probably going to be back to my old chirpy self, but November and December, I mean, that's when I seem to have the most bad time. And I want to change that about myself. So how do you all, especially for those that do deal with being alone on the holidays, how do you deal with your holiday depression? How do you cope? I'm just curious, because it's like clockwork. It's like every time it's November, it's like I just don't feel very good. I feel depressed, like. But I know I need to change. I'm trying to change. That's why I've been trying to change for better. But for those that have already achieved at changing their attitude about the holidays and getting over the holiday depression, I would love to know, what ideas and what ideas you might have to deal with such a thing. Because it's weird. It's like every November and December, I'm like, I just don't like it. I don't enjoy the holidays like everybody else. I don't. I seem to feel the most lonely and the most depressed around the holidays. So, what do you all suggest? How did especially for those that have already achieved at their dealing with their holiday depression? I'm just curious, because I'm sorry that my videos have been depressing and been having kind of a bad attitude as of late. I'm not trying to have a bad attitude. I just get so fed up with things that are going on in my own life, and November, December are just not the months I like at all. But I just want to come out here and just ask, hey, how do you deal with holiday depression? I would like to know, because, it's a real downer. It's like, it's like, all I can think about, I just can't wait for New Year's Eve, I can't wait for New Year's Eve, because it's like weird. It's like clockwork. As soon as New Year Eve come, it's like I want to go out and have fun. But December and November, it's like, oh man, it's like this end of the year depression. So how do you all deal with that, for those that suffer a similar problem like I do? I just thought I'd reach out and ask for some advice, because this holiday depression, it sucks. It really does. It's like, oh man, I feel like I make so much progress to deal with my issues throughout the year, and then here comes November and December, and boom, I'm depressed. I'm like so depressed, and I feel like nobody cares. I feel like I'm alone. I don't want to have these feelings anymore on the holidays. So, for those that are in my similar situation, how do you deal with your holiday depression? I'd really appreciate it if you could comment or something like that, because I'm telling you, I want to change. I want to change for better. I want to change to where I don't feel so depressed anymore. Without having to take those dangerous medications that they're treated, because it's like, I'm not depressed like this all the time. That's the thing. It's not all the time. It's mainly around November and December. It's like, I don't know, it's a holiday depression, end of the year depression, whatever you want to call it, but it hits me really hard this time of year. So I'm just curious, how do you deal with it? It's like a psychological flu or something like that, where it's like, you know how some people get the flu? You know how there's people out there, maybe some of you, like, it never fails. There's just that 1 month or one time in the year where you always get the flu. Have you noticed that? That's what my depression's like. It's like I get in my mind, like, oh no, it's like you have that feeling like, oh no, I'm gonna catch the flu because it always happens around this time of year. Sort of like my depression. I call it a psychological flu. So it's like, how do you deal with your depression, your psychological flu? Because I tell you one thing, I don't like feeling bad on the holidays. Rather it's an actual flu, getting physically sick, or depression. What I'm saying is I just want to feel better on the holidays. That's pretty much what I'm saying, and I'll be back later to chit-chat again.